People, it's a Friday, yes. For those of you still working in your little SME or still got a job and not furloughed, oh dear, oh dear. Don't mean to be dark on a Friday. I'm glad to be with you. In fact, this micro stream, it's not going to be too long. So we truly appreciate a share and a like. Do it now, please. Thank you very much. It's the only currency that works for us. We don't ask you for any money and no ads. What we're going to do is we're going to just point out a couple of key things. What is it about this Friday that's important? It's Non-Farm Friday. Now, some of you may say, well, why is that important? Let me just get my biscuit tin Georgian hat nicely set there. What you might say is, why is it important? Well, the biggest labor stat comes out. All those jobs, you see all that dark humor, it was there for a reason. All those people now working back thanks to the vaccine. It's put us back in business. Do you notice now on the news, mainstream media, that, market came off near the end of the day. Pfizer shared concerns about the ability to supply vaccines at the rate. Market down. Pfizer next week. Pfizer says new plants secured for vaccine. Market up. It's all it's all going to be about the vaccine now. This is called, association of a narrative. It's absolutely got nothing to do with why it went down or up. It went up because there were more people chasing the ladder up to buy and there were less people selling. It went down because there were more sellers chasing the ladder down, wanting to get defensive for whatever reasons they might have. And it had nothing to do with Reuters Rothschild rag pointing out that Pfizer's PR department makes some minor claim. But it's called toe tagging. They've got to associate a narrative because something unexplained is like a dead body in the street. Once you put the toe tag on and it's John Doe and he's been loaded into the back of the morgue van where they put him into the mincemeat grinder and he gets put in the soil or sent out as pig feed. Once that's been done, all is right in the world, you see, because we know it was John Doe and he fell and he died of a heart attack. Even if you're not sure, COVID. He died of COVID. Of course, no one dies of heart attacks anymore. Anyway, so that's the whole story. So markets go up, markets go down, and it's all about vaccines that they go up and down. It's never got anything else because now we are a vaccine economy. You see, we are a vaccine economy. The only companies that matter are Pfizer, AstraZeneca with Oxford and all the other eugenicist types that are looking forward to slowly getting a highway under your skin to save you from COVID-19. But let's have a look at a chart and stop rambling about that. Non-farm today, by the way. So the important part about this is we'll go live and we're going to look at all the charts non-stop, hour and a half, traditional markets. And on that front, I'm going to start with the chart on the dollar just to give you a small whiff. We're going to have a deep dive on the dollar as to where it's going because, boy, has that thing been peeing off the roof. Whoop, whoop. Have a look there. Is it on that side? I think it is. So you'll see that on the dollar index. So euro's going up. What a trade being short the USD ruble has been. And of course, the tri-trade stopped in its tracks against the dollar. It's held up a bit better against the euro tri after a very big pullback. This has all been about taking pressure off the emerging economies. The emergings were just due to fall apart. And now killing the dollar has had the benefit that the emerging currencies don't die. You don't have melt up on them. They had to slow the rate that was happening because it was getting a bit disorderly, particularly for a very big nation like Turkey. It was going one way. They put the sort of brick under the wheel of the car that was rolling down the hill for now. So we'll talk about the dollar. We'll talk about equities, indexes. We've been buying Tesla, higher. NASDAQ new highs. Hey, never has it been so good. How do you feel about that? Does that feel about right? Never has it been so good. Yes, the market is at all-time highs, the NASDAQ. And of course, we also have upside structure in the S&P, and we're still long the S&P. We'll be talking about that target on the S&P 500 and 500. So you'll get a little bit of that by hitting the link below and joining us on Non-Farm Friday. And you can buy it. By the way, if you take the pay twice pay for 2, we give you a get 3. That means 3 months in a row. On this key data day, you'll get to see exactly what we're talking about. We might even have a little dig around in our community and see what setups we like, and you'll get a little feel about what we do behind the screens and the scenes. You know, everybody has something behind the curtain nowadays, don't they? Wow, what a deceptive world we live in. Truth is a revolutionary act. Anyway, we've got to cackle our way through it for want of not crying. So anyway, let's just hope we're not dying soon. What we'll do, we'll also be talking about crypto, a full session. We'll take a small half-hour break, comfort break. We'll go pee off the roof somewhere and have something to eat. And then we'll be back to talk about crypto. Bitcoin has been sitting. Let's go to the cryptos side. Crypto. Bitcoin is actually, for its very bullish moves that it has been making, it has actually been spending a fair amount of time now. Don't forget how well it ran. It was making $1,000 a week, 8 weeks in a trot. It has actually been sitting in this range. Must go to our favorite color. You can guess in the comments for quite a bit. After a rather nasty little we warned you, Friday sale. That was the Thanksgiving weekend. We said there's going to be discounts on cryptos coming on that weekend. You remember that now? You remember we did say that? Yep. Sometimes we're right. Sometimes we're wrong. But anyway, down she spilled. It was a thriller. It was a bit of a spiller. And you got to buy at the bargain basement sale, the garage sale on cryptos. And it traded to about 16,000-ish. You're at about 16.2 at the lowest point there. You never buy the exact low, but nonetheless, buying in the 16,000s for something that's back up at 19,000, that's a 3K. But what is the structure? Is all absolutely well, or could there be? Could there be something more waiting in the hood? We'll be investigating that and more on our big God market that is Bitcoin. And for that, we'll also be looking at the alts total 2 versus Bitcoin. We'll be doing a whole bunch of surround sound and surround view analysis, 360 degrees. Look around, have a proper assessment. Could there be another dip sell-off? You note that this interim level 2 has been a level that we are battling to say goodbye to. It was in and around the 19,250s. You're not seeing it here. This is the blind chart, the clean lines, no lines chart. We'll go into it more detail in the non-farm payroll crypto Friday finds, and that'll go in. Now, the interesting thing about this is we're going to get some number. We're going to get some stats coming in. There's actually some news. And once every now and then, it is actually quite significant. In fact, you get a little bit of a pumpy or a dumpy. And what that tends to do is give direction again. So people are waiting to see what's coming. Remember, what does non-farm payrolls mean? It's a labor employment number that excludes seasonalities that were typically associated with farming, aka good cotton pickers and all you other fruit bearers and all those others. So seasonalities, you'd have a massive balloon of hiring to pick fruit and take things off, and then they would work for a couple of months and then they would disappear. So it eliminates seasonalities that are distortions during periods of the year and otherwise all other employment. And we've had some very interesting numbers coming out on that before. By the way, you aren't even back to the level you were at prior to the pandemic, if you want to call it that, breakout at the beginning of the year. We made many forecasts when they came with that. We said it was going to all be about vaccines. We said they're going to do a massive media onslaught. They're going to tell you how selfish you are for exerting your freedom to not have fetal tissue, MRC5 and mercury and various other aspects. And wait for it, there's even talk that there's certain tissue that could make you infertile, you ladies and possibly you gents. So anyway, you don't want to have that. You're a selfish bastard. And you should wear a mask, keep 6 feet away, and you should volunteer to have a vaccine. And some presidents and all these huge demonstrations of we will do it. Even the Pope is saying, for the good of all, you see. The captured entities of the control structure which is captured religion, captured government, captured media, captured corporatocracy, have a plan for you. And wherever they are all unanimous, although they differ on many things, that's the point at which you should resist. It is the attack vector upon you. Non-farm payroll today, we'll be discussing all these things and more. Tesla, the flighty, humpy equities that can only go up in a fiat proliferation. Let's show you one chart before we go. We can show it to you. Wrong one. Let's try again. Percentage of gross domestic product. This is debt. Let's see if I can make that a little bit bigger. There we go. That's big, isn't it? It's already in TG pink, so I'm going to have to use a different color. That was World War II. Whoops, look into my eyes. Let's get a nice big fat pen. That was World War II. We can do fatter. All-time debt percentage highs for America. So they were through 100% back then. That's right. Now, by the way, if you know your Reinhardt and Rogoff, also a little bit of captured signs going on there too, but never mind, let's just put them aside for now. If you know your Reinhardt and Rogoff, what you will know is that once you cross, and they kind of said the line, they drew the line in the sand, there's no exactitude about that. Once you cross 90% and you're heading in the wrong direction, that is debt to GDP, overall, every bit of new debt that you add creates less growth than the debt you're adding. So we're already in that level, but significantly less. So in other words, you borrow $1 to borrow it into the economy, and it creates 0.2 dollar in value and GDP. So what actually happens is you start to get a divergence. Debt moons because you've got to pay. And who says we pay any reasonable interest rates? They want negative real interest rates. We're in a negative real interest rates. After this war, they had the better part of 3.5 decades of negative real interest rates to kill their debt over indebtedness. That's right. After World War II, bonds were paying negative value until you went right into the percentage highs of Volcker in 81 that then saw the gold bull market. Do you see how all these things turn around and are related? You can learn how all these things work together. And since then, we've done nothing but pile on the debt. The Great Recession. We started with the dot-com bust there, and then we just pumpy into the pandemic GFC, the GFC first, and now the pandemic. And the pandemic has just absolutely ramped us. And the projection is ongoing out of control debt, which means there will never be any legit serious monetary policy or anything for savers. You have to play the Ponzi game, guys. You can't sit on the side and build bank balances. That monkey is an aging monkey on a very greased pole. And as you leave that money in that bank account, he's doing this. And soon you will say, goodbye, and you'll just see a Georgian hat on the top of your monkey. And you don't want that. You need it in an asset that goes up and that keeps holding value and in fact accelerates in value. And that's why stinky stoinks can still go higher. That doesn't mean they can't have a major dip. They're hopelessly overvalued. They're rubbish. It's much better to have a bit of gold, silver, and Bitcoin first, but there will be high-flying stocks and they will continue to fly, which is why we have upside HVFs and we can see what's actually happening in the market. We will be covering that below. Hit the link, join us for Non-Farm Friday. Thank you for popping on your Friday just to have a quick look. Shares are greatly appreciated. We'll talk on this and much more in the traditional markets and in our crypto Friday Fine session after a small break. Until then, catch you later. If you're not coming, thank you anyway for supporting the channel. Give it a share and we'll see. Maybe we'll go back and do some reset sniper tales from the crypt. Oh, great stories to go to bed to. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much and we'll see you later. Bye.